In this lecture, we're going to look at measure 3 of the Alman and look at how we're going to use our left hand to shift as we kind of go higher up on the fretboard. So as I was saying in the previous lecture, we want to have a position in mind, but we're not always going to be able to perfectly keep a 4-fret position at every moment that we're playing. We're going to be on one position, and then there's going to be kind of a transitional period, and then we're going to be into another position. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we're going to do that in measure 3 of the piece. Looking at that shift in measure 3 from this angle, you're going to kind of see that I'm pretty smushed up, and then I have to go from being pretty smushed up all the way down here. So my index finger is going to travel all the way to the 5th fret. I want to be spread out again. So I'm kind of going into a smushed up 2nd position to an open up 5th position. And you kind of notice as soon as possible, you want to be able to go get that open right away. So I actually want to open it up down here if I go in slow motion, sort of. And my first finger. And really the most important thing I work on with people in one-on-one lessons is to make sure that their hand is open right away. I know it's frustrating, to hit the wrong fret. But the thing is, that kind of mistake, while it's very annoying, it's very easy to fix. Whereas the kind of thing where we go, I kind of got it, but then, I can't quite reach that 8th fret note or that high C note, if you rather. That's harder to fix. So I want to get that right away opened up. Now this is nice. We're going to talk about in the next lecture where we have to shift right in the middle of 8th notes. That's a little trickier in some ways. This is hard enough because we have a bass note. We have 1 and 4. It's going from 3, dum, bum. That's kind of tricky. But at least we have the benefit of the rhythm. Quarter note. In the next lecture, we're going to talk about going between 8th notes without having any stop in between. But make sure you get that. You're kind of smushed up. And immediately expand and use your wrist to be nice and relaxed up here for 5th position. So now that you have an idea of how to shift between positions, looking at measure 3 of this piece, we're going to look ahead to another section where you're going to have to shift on 8th notes. In other words, we're going to have to keep an 8th note rhythm going constantly, and in between those 8th notes, we're going to have to shift. So that's going to be kind of tricky. Because before, on this passage, you have a quarter note and you stop and you do your shift, and so it's good we can take advantage of the musical situation to shift. Now in the next lecture, we're going to look at how we're going to shift between 8th notes. So when you've mastered everything in this lecture, feel free to go ahead to the next lecture and see how we're going to shift, keeping that 8th note rhythm intact.